Hello.
Hey,
Hey, we're
Hello.
here. We're live, guys.
hello.
We're
We're
live.
live.
We are
Looks like
live.
we might have some people on. Anyhow, so wow,
So
we could just
what's new? I haven't seen
yeah,
you guys forever.
I know for so long. Been crazy. Hi, Devon. So yes, we are going to have our show that's going to talk about basically what has been going on for the first half of from the beginning of the year to now, and we have a lot to talk about.
Sounds good. Let's get to it.
Let's
Yep, yep.
get to it.
So it's been busy. Basically, most things started in about after March, as I was busy at my work getting everything going. And hi, Evelyn. Hi, Deanne. Hi, Lance. Look, we're getting people joining us, so I'm going to let them join us before we just dive right in. So basically, so I've been busy for you, Darren. You've been busy.
Oh yeah, I've been busy as well. Just more life stuff than paranormal stuff.
Right, right, and that
What
happens.
So, but
happens?
Yeah,
yeah, and but you and I got to go off a couple weekends ago, and that'll be one of the things we'll talk about.
yeah,
So
that's neat.
that
Yeah,
was
we'll talk about
interesting.
that in a little bit for sure. So looks like we've got some people joining. So I think we can maybe get right to what we want to talk about. So I think the first thing we're going to talk about is we'll dive into the UFO. There's not been a lot going, but go ahead, Darren. That's kind of in your wheelhouse. What's been going
Mhm.
on?
Yeah, right now because it's a political year, presidential year and stuff,
Yeah,
that it's gonna take a back burner.
yeah.
But it's supposed to ramp up. I'm hearing a lot of behind the scenes movements, and so uh, I think honestly, whoever's going to be president will make a difference too
Yeah, I agree with that as
on
well.
what comes through and what doesn't.
Right. So yeah, now that does happen sometimes. I've heard it too. We'll talk about it, but we went to a UFO Fest and they mentioned that too, that they really are taking a pause at getting things done through Congress because on an election year you're just not going to get anything through. So yeah,
Exactly.
we'll have to start again next year.
I think they're waiting for the next Schumer amendment,
Okay.
uh, the one that got uh, taken, basically destroyed in Congress. They took everything out. They're revising it, and Chuck Schumer is coming out with another huge legislative bill that should be coming out soon
Okay.
for whistleblowers and stuff like that.
Well, cool.
They definitely
Well,
need that.
yeah, definitely. So now you were going to talk about something with the moon. Do you want me to bring up that thing, or are you
Oh,
good?
you mean the yeah? Bring it up.
Yeah, so hang on a
Absolutely.
second. Let me get that going here. Okay, so here, I'll bring this up. There we go. So basically, this is you can explain it, dude. This is the
Well, there's caves. There's caves on the moon and stuff, and uh, basically they're saying they're lava tubes and stuff like that. And well, there's a couple different theories, but one is lava tubes, and that would be a really good place for us to build a base and stuff,
well, yeah,
to
because I think
keep.
it said that. Yeah, no, I agree with you. Go ahead, but I think it said something
No,
about
no,
that's
go
how
ahead.
we would be able. Yeah, that's how we'd be able to live on the moon was be in tunnels just to keep us from because they have the radiation everything that we would get that's probably a good place for us to settle if we did big settlements on the moon.
Well, yeah, I mean, who's to say we didn't do that here,
Well,
early
true,
on,
true,
right?
and right, and why is the moon? So what did the So they want bases on the moon, and that's why they were all going for the water. And that's because they wanted it to be, we go to the moon, we fill up there, and then we go to Mars, right? They wanted it
Exactly. If we put a base on the moon, we can go anywhere cheaper
right,
because we don't have to shoot things through our atmosphere
Mhm.
with rockets, and that's what costs so much money and stuff. So being
right.
on the moon, you can go pretty much anywhere, which we're probably there already, but who knows? You know,
Yeah, exactly.
That's for
Exactly.
a whole different show.
you
Yeah.
never know. That's a
Yeah.
whole different show. Yeah.
Well, I do think it's interesting because even like we remember when we went into the lava tubes at Derrick Cave, they're huge. I mean, you could
Absolutely. God,
definitely
those were like
put a whole base.
30 feet high, weren't they? I
Yeah, they
mean,
were
they were
tall. Yeah,
massive.
yeah, in Eastern Oregon. So even
Yeah,
lava tubes can be giant, and who knows what
absolutely.
size these are? I have no idea.
Well, and then if you dive into the like the Hopi traditions and stuff, they always talk about guarding tunnels and stuff on here on Earth from beings that will live in there and stuff.
Exactly. Exactly.
And there's a lot of legend and lore about just here and the lava tubes and stuff.
Right, right. So is there any questions do we have? Oh yeah, I think I just read that Devon was mentioning that when
Mhm.
that it got hit by when they crashed that satellite into it, it rang like a bell, like it was
Oh
hollow.
yeah, that was back in like
Yeah.
the 70s and stuff when they because the first lander, one of the things they put on it was I don't know, it's a seismic thing for
Right.
earthquakes and stuff like that and stuff to measure when things hit it and stuff. And so we hit it and it rang like a bell. And
No,
so
that's really
there's a
interesting.
lot of theories about that. And the lava tubes would make sense, you know?
Right, right.
It's
So
a whole anthill up there.
oh, it is. It
Mm,
just
for sure.
that's a big rabbit hole to go down for
Yeah,
sure.
exactly.
So was there any other thing? But that's pretty much it on the UFO world right now.
Yeah, the UFO world. Right now, not a huge amount is coming out. There's a couple more shows. I mean, really, you're learning more from like watching Skinwalker and Beyond Skinwalker
Yeah, we'll
and
talk about those
stuff like
later, but
that.
yeah, I agree with you.
And so just stay tuned. We will give you breaking news once we get it,
Perfect.
whatnot. But it's pretty slow right now.
Gotcha. Gotcha. So anyhow, the other thing I think we should say right here, I think would be really good is that you wanted to do something, just put something out there to see.
Yeah, so I was thinking that one of the reasons why we put the show together is to have a community, our own little community of viewers and stuff, and they interact with us and maybe share their UFO sightings or their paranormal sightings and stuff like that. And I was thinking, we haven't set this up yet, but just having like a map where we have our own sightings map and
And
stuff.
I kind of like that
That
idea.
is a great idea. I agree.
And
Yeah,
I think just like we saw our UFO up I-5, we would be able to,
exactly.
like if you're in Oregon or Washington or maybe up the West Coast, even like, Bigfoot sightings, it'd be cool to know maybe the area and some of those where you're in. And yeah, no, for
Even
sure.
even even like Evelyn, who's in the who's watching right now. I mean, she's what? Where does she live again?
Montana.
Montana.
Montana. See, let's go. We can go global with this and stuff, and let's find our own separate hotspots.
No, I like
Because
the
they're
idea.
all paranormal and UFO hotspots that
Oh,
you
for
hear
sure.
about all the time and stuff.
No.
Let's have a community grassroots
Yeah, no.
hotspot.
I love
And
the
then
idea. And
we can show where we've gone and done investigations and
Mhm.
stuff too. And other people can as well. And let's just get a community of openness.
right,
You know?
and I do like that right now. We're really hooking up with the paranormal community right now.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
and what's really nice is a lot of the ones that we've been hooking up with recently, they're really lifting each other up and helping the
Yeah.
other teams. And I think that that's why this is a good idea too. I mean, getting that community all working together is and not fighting against each other, and none of the stupid paradrama or bullying online. I mean, that is definitely what we're all about, and just trying to all see eye to eye on certain areas, but also bringing what we find, and that could actually open up something that they're like, oh, hey, that works with this. And like
Absolutely.
you said, that's why making this map and the different areas of like the paranormal, the UFO, or the cryptid would be a great idea.
It's so much easier to make correlations when it comes to paranormal UFOs and cryptid, that if you have more people from different walks of life,
Absolutely.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
And they've
you know,
experienced stuff we haven't experienced,
absolutely.
and we've experienced stuff they haven't experienced. But together, we can all bring that to the table, and that's what's really nice
Mhm.
about
Mhm.
it. Yeah, no, good idea.
Okay. Let
Okay.
the phrase happen. They're watching us. Be
Yeah,
careful what you talk about.
I know, huh? They just logged on. I don't
And
know.
so it
Anyhow,
begins.
anyhow, so the one thing I know you were really busy with your life. So me and Chrissy were able to do a lot of different investigations. We were able to do a lot of it. So we're going to go through. We're going to show, different areas that we went to and kind of talk a little bit about it. But feel free, Darin, to jump in where you want to. Not trying to exclude you from the conversation or anything.
Oh, well, I know you all, but that's okay.
I'll
I'll
just
butt
put you
in.
Oh,
in
we
the
found
back
out.
room.
I'll butt in. It's okay.
All
You
right.
know me.
Okay. So first of all, I'm going to share the first one that we went to, and it was real cool. Let's see here. I'm going to share this here. Okay. So this is the Geyser Grand Hotel in Baker, Oregon.
Mhm.
We're over by the border of Idaho, where Baker is, and it is a amazing hotel. Just be, none of the paranormal stuff. Just it as itself is just a gem,
It's beautiful. It really is.
right? And some of the history of it is it was the gold rush had came through, and they had built this place where people could do their business there. It ended up falling into the Geiser family. They were running stagecoach in the area and ended up getting a gold mine, and then ended up purchasing this hotel. And it was the top of the line during that era. I mean, it's where Baker was considered, because of the gold, that it almost became the capital of Oregon, and it was one of the ones that was considered. But like what happened with all of those gold towns, when that dried up, so did the money that was coming in for the hotel. So basically, some of the history of it is when it just started falling on, just people weren't going there, they weren't spending money, they weren't able to fix up the building, it started just falling apart. And the last time that it ran before it shut its doors was during the filming of the Paint Your Wagon, and the cast and crew actually stayed at this place. They were the last ones, and after they left, they shut the doors, and it sat empty and just rotting away after that until the 90s. So basically, during the 90s, it was going to be torn down. I mean, the roof had fallen in, part of the building had completely collapsed. They had animals and water, everything living inside. It was in really sad shape. But luckily, the
Can
people
I
who
ask
haven't.
a question?
Sure, yeah, go ahead.
So why were they the last ones? Why did they shut the doors after that crew?
Because
Did
they didn't.
something happen?
The building needed so much repairs and so much money, and nobody was going to stay there. They couldn't get people.
Okay.
It's in Baker, Oregon, and it's a fallen apart hotel. They couldn't get
Yeah,
people.
it was also a money thing, right?
Yeah, and as you know, Baker's out of the way now. I mean, it's not one of those areas that people go to very much. It's a small town, and
Yeah.
so you just weren't able. You know, it had I think it had like 70 rooms or something back in the
Right.
day when it was running, and and so they weren't able to make it work, and that's why that happened. But anyhow, so basically, luckily these people saw the history of this building, and so they ended up dumping like $8 million into it, bringing it back. They only were able to get, I think, 30 rooms back or something like that. And what it was is part of the building that fell through. They didn't fix that up, but they tried to bring it back as original as possible, like the Ironworks original. They got people who remember it from the day to help them tell about the stained glass, so they're able to make the stained glass ceiling, which is absolutely amazing. I don't think. I actually have a picture of that. So hang on, I'm going to actually change this, and I'm going to bring the stained glass, and they got it to as original as they could. So here we go. So here's the stained glass, the ceiling.
Oh wow.
And yeah, they did it like they would do it, so it's done even in the original style. So, but they really spend a lot of time and care with this beautiful building, and they were able to fix it up. Like I said, and it is amazing. You go in there and you can tell it doesn't feel like it belongs where it is just because it's so nice. But not that Baker isn't. It's just such an amazing building. Anybody that gets a chance to go out there and stay here, they will not be disappointed. The rooms are nice. It's just a beautiful building. And one of the other cool things is a lot of the furniture that's in there and pictures on the wall are original. They were in a cooler. They had got all shoved in a cooler, and it was sealed. So when all of the weather and everything that affected everything else, they weren't damaged. So they were able to pull them out and barely not just do a little bit of cleaning on them and able to put them. So there is a lot of original furniture and paintings that are hanging within the different rooms and areas within the hotel. So anyhow, Krissi, so who was the group we went out? We did an investigation of this location.
Sure.
We went out with the group. Could you explain a little bit about that?
Absolutely. So we found them on Facebook. I think we had been following them for quite a while, but it was Big River Paranormal, and they're based out of Portland or Idaho, Boise. I know that they do the Idaho, Oregon, Washington area, but they have investigations every couple times every month. So we were able to get on one of their investigation tours and see kind of how they did their thing. So we were able to go and do a night tour there. I would say it was maybe 3 or 4 hours. I don't quite remember. Yeah. But it was Big River who was the investigation group that allowed us to come on their tour. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, and really what I got from the tour is, now this is a great thing. So we used their equipment, except you could take a digital recorder, so you couldn't use all your equipment. And really, if no one's ever done paranormal investigation, or nobody's ever done, this would be the one to start out with. I would start.
I agree.
Amazing. It gives you that dive into that. And you really can see how you can do investigations of other locations. But it's just a taste of it, and it's perfect for people who either just want to, test it out to try out a creepy location they think or whatever. But it really was good. But like I said, it isn't one that you can go in and use all your equipment and set up. But that's okay.
Right, and I think it's because they just had a few hours to go in there and investigate. They had a few rooms, I think, that were just for the investigation. There was a parlor. One was the bar. You had the basement,
302,
and then of course 302, which is the famous room, the Lady in Blue.
Yeah.
Right. So, I think that because of that, they didn't want you to bring all your equipment. Plus, it was a bigger group, and it was kind of you followed them from place to place. So,
right. And not only that, we also, the one area that I really did like the most was when we went underneath. We went underneath in the kind of the basement area.
Yes.
That was the best area.
I agree.
Dark down there. They have a lot of storage. It was the creepiest area, I think.
I agree with that. Yeah. And also it was in the dark. The rest of investigations were, except for one of the parlor, but were not as dark. Obviously, the basement was the darkest. So, yeah, it was a good one. You can feel it in the basement.
Right. It used to have tunnels under it that you were able to go through.
Yes.
There's all these tunnels that they had in like Pendleton Underground has all of them. Same kind of idea. They had tunnels there, but they sealed them all off. They brought in, matter of fact, one of the guys that we were with on just the tour of the history of the hotel, not the haunted history. He actually worked on helping seal off all of those tunnels, so you can't go down them anymore for various safety reasons, I believe.
Right, but yeah, follow Pig. What I call them? Big River Paranormal. Sorry, go ahead and follow them on Facebook. They do a lot of events as well. Yeah, and they're very nice people. Very nice.
Shout out.
Yeah.
Shout out.
Shout out to Big River Paranormal.
Very good. And so from there, we did that, and that was all cool and stuff. And then what was our next location that we did? Krissi, what was our next location?
Next location was Old Idaho Penitentiary, the state penitentiary. So yeah.
Hang on, I'll bring that up so you can kind of.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So here we go. Here we go. So there's there. So anyhow, yeah, basically this was a tour. We weren't investigating this. You can investigate it again with Big River Paranormal, but we weren't investigating it. We wanted to go through and learn the history first. Now we will be going back at some point, definitely, to investigate this location. It was definitely interesting and definitely worth it, and I definitely got some interesting feels within this tour. I would suggest to do the tour before you did an investigation. It was really good. It was hot, but it was really good. What did you think about it, Krissi?
Oh yeah, I agreed. Well, we did go. It was super hot. But you will definitely get some feelings, especially, and I won't say too much about it, but the areas they take you in. Remember, this is now shut down, but they're running the tours, and so some of the areas, a cell block and also death row, was where you could really feel some things for sure. But it was a great tour. The guide was very knowledgeable, so it was good to get all that information.
No, you're right. Yeah, that area where they had done the hanging and stuff, and where people were waiting for death row, that definitely was an area where you really definitely felt that would
imagine that.
Yeah.
So it was in Boise, Idaho, and like I said, they've got a lot of different things to do. One of the ones that's really interesting to us that we want to do at some point, they actually check you in as a prisoner. They give you stripes. You got to wear the striped clothing. They sit you down and they're going to serve you slop, but they actually cater out, they say, but they act like they're going to serve you slop and the whole thing. And then you get to spend the entire night and investigate. You get to stay in a cell overnight. You
get to stay in a cell.
Yeah, but you get to actually investigate in stripes. So that gives you interesting and unique opportunity. So that's definitely one that's high on our list.
It is high on our list. And also that is also run by Big River Paranormal.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Shout out.
Shout out.
Good ones to go try out.
Yes.
So anyhow, so that's that on that. And we had a lot of fun on that trip. And then we came back, and then the next weekend, like you said, we were busy. We had the UFO Fest. It was so I'll bring that up.
Which I couldn't go to because I was sick.
Yeah, I
My
know.
family was sick at the
Sorry,
time.
Darren, we missed you.
I
We
know.
We missed you and Jen.
It's
So
okay.
we went to the UFO Fest, and it's the McMenamins in McMinnville. This is, if you've never been to it, this is, you don't even have to be into the UFO or any of that stuff. If you just go, they have a parade, you get to see cool costumes. There's a lot of good speakers that go there. We went to the speaker panels. That's something we like to do. But there's also the parade and booths and little things to see. So it's definitely a good one to go to. So we were going specifically for somebody. We wanted to go see this person in general. I'll put him up. And let's go here. So was Ryan Graves. And Ryan Graves, as you see, and basically, Krissi, you, if you want to explain who was all there, but this was one of the main polls on the panel that we wanted to go see.
Correct. I don't follow him as well as Darren does. Darren has a lot more information who Ryan Graves is. So if Darren wants to take this, I can totally do that.
You want to think about who Ryan Graves is?
Sure. So Ryan Grave, he used to be in the Navy or Air Force, one of the two. Anyway, so he's from the East Coast. He was stationed in the East Coast, and they would, for a month, they would have radar hits of something up in the sky, and even getting really close to their planes and stuff. And so he said they were, he himself didn't actually see him, but he saw all the radar thing, and then all the other pilots coming back and stuff. And they were a square with a sphere in the middle. And they were like there for like a month. And so anyway, so he got out of the military, and he decided to create a
This right here. I got it right here.
company. Yeah,
I got it right here.
you
So
have
hang
a
on.
company. Okay.
Right here, I'll share it. There it is. It's called ASA, Americans for Safe Aerospace.
Yeah, exactly. So he's been, if you notice, last year he was on Congress. He was on the hearing, the UFO hearing with David Grush and Fravor from the Nimitz encounter and stuff. And so he's dealing with Colonel Fravor from the Tic Tac, who saw the Tic Tac and stuff like that. And they're just working on and stuff because even pilots couldn't talk about if they saw things.
Right. And that's something he mentioned when we were seeing him on the panel is that you got your airliners, Delta, whatever, all those different, and they see things, but they were told not to report them. So they're being underreported. We don't know how many near misses are. We're not saying, he's not even saying that these are aliens in ships, but there is something up there flying around, and we definitely don't want them to collide with any of our airplanes.
No, I mean, the thing is even if it's drones or something like that,
Right.
They need to know what's in the airspace.
Exactly.
And
whether they're foreign, did they come? Is this from another country, or is
exactly.
this? We just need to know what it is, and they don't know. And now this is because of being able to go public like this. He's able to get all this feedback from all these people, and it doesn't just deal with. He even gets ones of the ones underwater as well. So we're not
absolutely
so it's not just in the air, but it's all the different close calls that people are having, and it's I think it's a really great thing. Like he mentioned, he's not one that likes to go and speak publicly or any of this, but he realizes he's in the position to do this and to help. And there's such a need for it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
He has a podcast.
Right, he does.
That he does, and I forgot what it was called. Merger, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, follow him because he's doing some good work as well. And
Right.
he was even on an episode of Skinwalker Ranch.
Yes, he
They've
was.
been bringing him in too.
Yes,
Yeah,
he
we'll
was.
talk about that too, because it sounds like maybe
Yeah.
he'll do more stuff with them, which is really good. So
Yeah.
Yeah, and all in all, it is him wanting not only pilots but the passengers, everybody to be safe up there, regardless of what it is up there. All about
Absolutely.
safety.
Because
So-
there's been close misses, he
Mhm.
said.
right. So Krissi, so we ended up having a personal thing that just happenstance. Go ahead and tell the story of what happened to us.
Okay. Oh, so yeah, so was the four of us were supposed to go to McMenamins, a restaurant in McMinnville. No, not McMenamins, but a restaurant in McMinnville. And you know, we got called and said, actually, we can't go, so it's just going to be just you and me, Darell. And so we went to the restaurant because we had made reservations, and so we just let them know that sorry, it's just going to be 2 people instead of 4. And they said, oh, okay. So they took us out to the balcony outside eating area, and so we walked out the door and sat in the a table with two chairs, right? So along that balcony is just a table with 2 chairs, so just 2 people, 5 different tables. But so we sat there and didn't realize that some people were sitting right in front of us. There's a guy in a hat who didn't have he didn't have his head up. It was always down in his phone, or he was reading or something, but he didn't ever have his head up. And then another gentleman that walked in and sat down. And so I was able, from my perspective, I was able to look straight at him. So I kind of looked this way, and it was a big black guy, Roderick. What's his last name?
Roderick Martin.
Thank you, Martin.
Yes.
And so I'm like, oh, Darell, this is the guy we're going to see him. He's on the panel. And so, you know, you look around and saw him. And and so we kept talking about it. And I think he could hear us talking. And so he goes, hey guys. So we were like, hey. So we were able to meet him. Kind of said, how you doing? Where are you from? We said Salem. He thought we were coming from Massachusetts, and I said, no, we were coming from Oregon. We're 30 minutes away, Oregon. And so we just kind of left it at that. And then noticed that Roderick had moved to the table in between him and us. And he was sitting with a guy. And with the hat, the guy with the hat. And so we were like, oh, look, he moved. I don't know who that is. And I'm a little nosy. I looked over and I saw it was Ryan Graves. So I was like, oh, hey, he's sitting with that's Ryan Graves this whole time. It was Ryan Graves. Like I said, his head was always down, so you couldn't tell. So they were chatting it up and discussing some things. We couldn't hear what they were saying, but when we left, we were able to actually shake their hands and meet them both. Yeah, so that was really nice. Yeah, we were able to meet them. So that was really awesome.
Went to the panels, and one thing I want you to talk about. So I really did like Ryan Graves, and I loved, and that's who I went there. But there was other speakers there, and they were all good. But I also really liked what Roderick was about. Could you go through it?
Yeah. See, I don't. Right. I don't follow him on YouTube. In fact, that was the first time I've ever heard of him. So, and obviously Darin does know of him and knows what he represents. But the big thing that he wanted to convey to everybody there was about the lack of transparency within the Black community. Right. Me being Black, it is true. It's within, it's not really talked about, right? The paranormal, any cryptid, any UFO is not really talked about. So he's trying to bring that transparency within the Black culture, so people are more aware. And so we can kind of see that now coming into the forefront. We have Ghost Brothers, who we love, right? We watch them all the time. And so and others are coming into the mainstream now where it wasn't before. So that's what I liked, what Roderick was talking about on the speaker panel. He really made that.
He's a MUFON investigator.
He is.
That's where
Yep.
he got his start.
Yep.
And stuff. And now he's just broadening out. He has a YouTube channel.
Yeah.
I forgot what it's called, but yeah, so he's been around for quite a while. But
his channel's called High Strangeness.
oh, there we go. High
There we-
Strangeness.
yeah.
There we go.
Yeah, no, I really liked that that's what he was doing, because you could see that
Me too.
that community wasn't getting reached, or wasn't, there
Yes.
was no interaction with that, and
Yeah.
he's bringing that, which is so amazing. I think
Yeah.
that's I'm glad that he's
Yeah,
here.
more visibility. Absolutely.
Yeah.
But just think, if we weren't sick, you wouldn't have saw them.
That is
I
true.
know.
Oh, yeah, you know what?
So
I
thank
knew
you.
that was
Thank you
going
for
to happen.
It's true.
You're welcome.
Yeah, thank you.
No, I feel
No,
bad about
synchronicity.
that.
It was so crazy how that
Yeah.
worked out. Because if it
Oh.
was the four of us, we would be sitting on the
We
other
would've come
side
around
of the
corner
restaurant.
and not
Yeah.
seen him.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what's so interesting is you get into this high strangeness, paranormal type stuff. Synchronicity does follow you.
It does.
And it's
Yeah.
really interesting, and it's been like that forever. John Keel wrote about it with the Mothman prophecies, and I mean, it's gone way back, and it's
Yeah.
just fun to. I'm sure other paranormal. I mean, Evelyn. I'm sure she's had some synchronicities when it comes to stuff like this.
Right,
I'm
and I don't
pretty
even think it
sure.
has to even be paranormal. Some people, when it just happens in their life, they're just like, "Oh, that's a coincidence," right? But with the paranormal, when it happens, and we start paying attention to those coincidences and start looking at them, I think that's just a lot of the difference. I think it
Yeah, if
happens
you pay
more
attention.
than people
Yeah.
think.
Mhm.
Yeah, totally.
So anyhow, so that was basically on the UFO panel. It was interesting and we liked it and all that. And then our next big investigation thing we did, which was with a big group, we set up, we brought people in. We had people from Montana, California, Seattle area, and of course, local area here in Salem. But we went to do an investigation and stay at the hotel at Wolf Creek and investigate the little ghost town right next to it called Golden.
Yes.
And of course, we went to the Oregon Vortex, and this was something we put together. And again, you weren't able to make that either, Darin. You guys got
No.
I know. So
again, we were sick.
yeah, we
Again.
missed you for sure. We
totally missed you.
Oh
But-
my
Yeah.
goodness.
Well, because it was a big thing when we went down, what was it, a year ago? And we
Yeah.
were like, oh, yeah, we need to come back. All four of
Yeah.
us with Jen. We also went to Golden, all four of us together. We're like, okay. So, yeah, we'll do that again.
We'll do it
No,
again.
absolutely.
It was an amazing time. We had family who had not ever investigated before that we decided to bring on it. We had people that were on our Romania trip that went to Romania that joined us, which was amazing. One that was from the Portland area, and one from California, and one from Montana, and it was amazing to have them. We also had a friend of ours from Seattle come down, a family member.
Our nephew.
Came down. Yeah, it was a great time. It was amazing. The Wolf Creek's amazing. The small little town, of course, is a neat little ghost town. And the Oregon Vortex. I thought it went really well. What did you think, hon?
I think it went great. I think the family did great. They loved it. That they want to come and do it again. So we're definitely going to have to do it again. I love that everybody had their styles, their own styles and everything. Everybody worked and blended very well. And we caught some really good things.
Right.
So I'm excited to talk about that.
So,
but yeah.
Yeah. So first we'll start out with Wolf Creek. So let me bring that up real quick. So I've got some stuff here. We'll just bring up a real quick Wolf Creek thing so you can see what the hotel looked like here. Hang on here. There we go. That's Wolf Creek. That's me and Krissi standing in front of it there. That's basically that upper deck. There's rocking chairs up there. You can sit out. I have to say it's in the middle of nowhere. There's a convenience store across the way, but that's it. So being in that place felt really cool. It's an old building, but it's kept up really nice. The people that run the restaurant there are the ones that keep it up. They do an amazing job. The food is amazing. We had really good meals while we were there. And so it was just a really neat time. And so we had all but, because of cancellations, we ended up only having one room that somebody else was in that we were able to be quiet with. But we were able to basically investigate most of that building.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Devon says it was fantastic and so interesting. Yes, it was.
Oh, yeah. Yes,
Agreed.
it was.
Deanne was best rocking chairs in town.
She,
Yeah,
if you couldn't find Deanne, that's where she was at.
Yeah, she was at the
Yeah.
Rocky with a
Yeah.
coffee in her hand.
She's out
and the
there in the
Rocky.
rocking
In the
chair.
rocking chair.
Very comfy.
Yeah,
Very comfy. The wind was blowing. Yeah, it was so nice.
it was nice.
Awesome.
And so basically, instead of showing, because a lot of what we caught was EVPs, there was a few videos. There's still a few things we haven't gone through. We've gone through most of the stuff that was caught on that night. Everybody seemed to have some maybe personal experiences. I know that ones that we didn't catch was over by the Jack London room. When we were done investigating the first night, I heard Fett's footsteps to the point where I thought it was Lance, one of our other brother-in-law that was there that was investigating with us. I thought it was him, and I even shouted out his name and said hello and went around the corner, and there was nobody there. And there were clear footsteps. I heard like 4 steps. It was getting closer to me. So it really sounded like he was walking down that hall, but no, nobody was there.
Yeah, and you know those floors are super creaky. So normally someone would have to. I mean, they're super creaky. So
and what's interesting is we got, after the investigation, after we were there, I saw somebody comment on our page when I put pictures and stuff of it, saying that they had stayed in a room and had heard footsteps down the hall as well. And but this was over by like the roommate and stuff like that. So footsteps there, I think, is pretty common. Yeah, it's definitely something that you would hear there. Like Krissi said, the floors creak like crazy because it's an old building.
And Devon, by the way, says the beds were really comfortable too. Yeah, they were. They're very comfortable. I agree with that.
The food was great.
Yeah, and the food was good. So
great. Yeah.
Some of the big things that nobody knows, even the people that were there, they don't know what we've caught. Only me and Krissi know this stuff because we've been going through
It's been a lot. It was a lot. Very time consuming, but that's what evidence. That's what it does.
Isn't that funny? Because when we had our ghost team, Darell
Psych Paranormal.
Psych Paranormal. It took forever to go through the evidence because there's so much. You don't realize how much there is to go through. So it's very time consuming.
And so one of the ones you can really hear that are really good, and I'll just talk about them. But in room 3, we had room 3, and this was investigated. I left a recorder in there just for like an hour, and we didn't catch anything on that. Nothing that was kind of during the day. You could hear background stuff, nothing that was really there. But then me, Dana, and Evelyn went into that room and investigated. Her camera turned off. There were some little things like that, but we didn't really catch a lot that we thought. But when I went back, there is a clear baby sound that comes through, and there is nobody. At this point of the night, the hotel is shut down. All the staff from the kitchen is gone. It's only us in there. And then the other person, which were 2 older guys that were staying in the one room we didn't have. There were no babies or no children at all in here.
Right. So this was after hours. Yeah.
After hours.
This is after hours.
Baby sound, like what a baby makes when they make like a little coo or a sigh.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
And it's super loud. I mean, you could clearly hear it. And so it's interesting that phantom noise that was one thing that we caught in that room 3. And then one of the other really good ones we caught was with you and Russ, Krissi, when you were in the 2-chair room, which is right next to Jack London
Right
room.
next to the Jack London room.
Yeah,
correct.
You guys
So,
were in there talking, and one of the things that has been talked about is that there's a girl in there, and that's why we're offering candy. That people have caught stuff, and we had candy that we were trying to offer as well. And you clearly hear again a little girl. You hear a
yeah.
little
So it
girl.
wasn't like the one in room 3 was a
No.
baby. This
Yeah.
was a little girl, and I know that the some of the research that was done was the last time a team was there. They had mentioned a little girl who likes candy. So Russ had candy sitting on the table, and we were doing, asking the questions and that must have come through. It was amazing.
And it's a little girl going,
Because we were specifically talking to the little girl.
And
We're asking the little girl to come through.
I think you asked, like, what was your favorite? Was this your favorite room in the house? And it goes, huh, like this. And it's clearly a little girl's voice that does that. And I mean, again, there were no children or kids at all.
No.
At this location.
So Darell, Devon's asking, she's on YouTube. She's asking, is there a chance you can share this audio catches here on YouTube? And I think we've talked about that, right? Trying to link it on there.
So I went back through and I looked at showing this on it. Some of these you can only hear with the headphones. The baby you can literally hear without the headphones.
Yes.
That was the one that at some point we can show. I am going to have to get and up the audio on some of these to try to get them to show so I can show. So only a few of these would we be able to actually show live on here, just because some of them are very hard to hear and you need the headphones to literally hear some of these because they're in the background or they're behind us talking. And so just on this platform, it wouldn't show through very well. And that's what but at some point
we'll link up. We'll link up and
well, definitely the ones that we went on the investigation, we'll bring you guys together and we'll show you these and you can listen to them on the headphones because it is really interesting, some of the stuff that we caught. Those are really some of the main ones that we caught in the main area. There is a that was really at this location at the hotel. Those were mainly some of the main ones we caught. The little girl and then that. Now, something else that happened to us was you guys had heard during one of your Estes method a lot of like clicking number from the Clark Gable room, which was the room me and you stayed in, right, Krissi?
Yes. I think the first night we were in room 9.
Yeah.
And I think I was in with, I want to say, if you don't mind me, I guess I said your name already, but Devon, Deanne, I think Russ, Lance, yes, and Jay, I think, and we were while Lance was doing the method, we could hear some clicking over there by the fireplace, Deanne, and I know that she was saying it as well, and I was hearing it when she was saying it. So yeah, the clicking, which is what we heard.
Right.
Which is what we would wake up to.
Right. So I'm trying to go to sleep and I hear this clicking noise over by where the bricks are from the old fireplace that was there. And I clearly heard it and I'm like, well, I'm really tired. I'm just going to go to bed. But it also woke me up at about 2 or 3 in the morning too. So when I got up in the morning, I go, well, I definitely heard noises last night. And Krissi goes, was it clicking noises from the fireplace? Because she heard it from
next to the fireplace. Yep.
Yeah. So we heard it. I do not know what it is, but it was definitely
it's a working fireplace. It's not.
No. What it was is it's actually just bricks of a fireplace. There's no opening, but they had a capped wood stove up where a wood stove pipe went, and they just capped it because back in the day, they had a wood stove in there, and since then they don't. Of course, we were in the oldest part of the hotel. That was the 1884, I believe, room. And then in the 1920s, when they redid and put the other rooms in, they put in bathrooms and running plumbing back when that room was, there wasn't. And so at some point they removed the wood stove, so it's not there anymore. There's no actual opening for a fireplace or anything, though.
Yeah, and was it within the fireplace or on the side? I mean, it was just super weird. Because that, like I said, that's what would wake me up.
Yeah, and what's weird about it is it felt like it was in the room. It was
Yes.
by that, but it was in the room. It wasn't
Yeah.
out of the room. It wasn't like
Right.
from outside
No.
or up
That's
on
so
the
cool.
ceiling.
No.
It felt
Yeah.
like it was in the room.
Agreed.
So that was the one thing we had when we were there with that. And so then I think that's pretty much what we caught there. Like I said, there were some other things. I remember during one of our big group ones in like what was kind of like the gaming hall area, you could get
Yeah.
coffee there and stuff like that. I believe Dana
Yeah,
was one of
Dana.
the people that came from Romania that she helped there. She saw one of the cups. There was on a table that was away. They had coffee cups hanging on them, and one of them clearly started to move that she
Yeah.
saw. Now we didn't have a video where we caught any of this, but yeah, that happened. And then of course our lasers failing all the time was interesting.
All the time. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And so what's interesting about it is Lance, one of our investigators, he had his camera and he had it going through a lot of different areas, and almost all of his footage, almost all of his video that he took, except for 2, were corrupted. One
Yeah.
of just when he was testing, and one in the parlor on one night, were the only 2 that actually went through. The rest of his videos got corrupted, which is interesting in itself.
Mhm.
Yeah, and Lance knows what he's doing because he
Right.
was part
Absolutely.
of our group, you know,
Right.
Yep.
He was one
Site
of our
Paranormal,
investigators from
right?
Site Paranormal.
So,
So I
yeah.
think that that's interesting in itself as well. So anyhow, the next place we got to investigate was a little ghost town called this right here. I will bring it up. And it was Golden, the little
Golden.
Yes, and so and I could show you real quick. So it's Golden, and I'll go through the other pictures real quick because all that you can really go into was, of course, this is the schoolhouse. They had that you were able to go inside of. Is the schoolhouse. The other buildings are falling down, except for one other one, which was they have an old church that's there that you're able to go into as well. And here's the church right here. Okay, so there you go. So those are what they actually had that you were able to go inside. And I went and talked to the guy that there's kind of like a camp host there that make sure that because people were breaking into the buildings, but make sure that they're kept good. We got permission to go in there at night and do investigations here. And it was really interesting.
Yeah. So Darren, you remember we were able to go in and do a little bit of investigation when we were there.
Yeah.
We were there maybe half an hour, 45 minutes.
Yeah,
but-
and what's really interesting about this area is that there's gravestones right by it.
yes.
Yes.
You're
By the
right.
church,
It's
there's a bunch of
so there's
Right by the
gravestones
church.
right by it.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then even like in the schoolhouse, it still has the writing
Yes.
on the chalkboard that was left when they left, and stuff.
Yeah, now it did have some dolls in it, but people have stolen all of those dolls.
Oh, they don't have the creepy dolls.
No, they were
There was
gone.
4 in there, and they've all been stolen. So people have
Yeah.
creepy dolls apparently. But that was okay. We were able to go in there at night with knowing that we would be able to lock it up after we were there.
Uh-huh.
The church has bats that moved in, and we could hear the bats. So that was something we were fighting all night with our audio equipment when we were back.
And just real fast, do we just digest a golden, just a tiny bit of the background.
So a tiny bit of the back. It was another area, which of course they were mining gold, and this guy ran. He had a lot of Asian people that worked in the mines that they had working in that area, and they were mining the creek in the area. And that's a little town. The most it ever had, I think, was 100 people that were there at one time, and it was a little community for this mining community that was there. And these are some of the buildings that were left from when they were at that location.
Got it. Okay. So what did you guys catch there?
So basically, in that location, so we had some interesting stuff happen in the schoolhouse.
Yeah.
And then some interesting stuff happened at the church. So Krissi, go ahead and tell your stuff, and then I'll show some of the stuff that we caught
Yes, I would say the biggest thing was micro, because we cut it down to 2 groups. And so I had Dana and Evelyn and Jay. No, you had Jay. I had Evelyn. See, I already forgot.
Well, and Dana had some friends there, and
yes, there it is. Yeah, and Lisa. Lisa. And so we were able to do obviously do some research, do some investigation there. We sat in the dark for, I would say, 45 minutes, maybe an hour. We were there. And so we were able to, we had the cat balls that were out. We set, and Russ, we had them set up by the window seals. We had one up on the pulpit. Some of the window sills off to the right. And so, we're asking our questions, trying to get to know whatever spirits were there. And so we had a few instances where the cat balls did go off. Now, mind you, it's an older school. It's old. The movement, the creakiness of the ground was still, loud. But we were able to have those go off. I had the K2. I was using K2. I wasn't able to do a whole lot with that. There wasn't much that had come up on the K2. And then we had tried, oh no, we didn't do this. You had that. But we did, about a half an hour into it, maybe a little later, hear music. Okay, it was late at night. We don't know who would be playing music. We knew it wasn't the gentleman, whoever was caretaking of the buildings, and so we didn't quite know what that was. But we all said it. You can hear it on the recorder, on the voice recorders, which we used. But we could hear. Did you hear that? It sounds like music. And so
you caught it on the recorder.
Well,
yeah.
So
yeah.
I went through the recorder, and she mentions the music, and I'm
thinking, right.
I'm thinking choir music. We're in a church, right? Choir music. No, that is not what we catch.
Well, because you could hear it was melodious, right? It was melodious. So you knew it was music. You just didn't know what kind of music.
Mm-hmm.
And then what we caught.
Native American chanting music.
Yeah.
Are you serious?
No. And so it's interesting. That comes through, because that is not what I expected, especially.
Not at all.
Yeah. So they mention it, and it shows up after they mention it. I mean, it's right there. And so it's interesting, and it goes on for maybe about 30 seconds too. So it's there for a significant amount of time before it goes away. And they're talking, and it's in the background behind them.
Yeah.
You can hear it. And
you can hear it saying, do you hear that music?
Yeah.
Where's it come from?
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah.
So just to talk about the same thing within this church, when we went there, when we switched and we went there, Devon and Lance and I believe Jay had heard a voice that sounded like a male voice from outside. And I didn't hear it. I was sitting on the other side. I didn't hear it. But it was so much so that Lance went outside to make sure, and Jay too, that there wasn't a guy outside, or anybody around the building, which there wasn't. We had a cat ball that kept going off over by Jaden. So I made Jaden move back one, and it continued to go off. And then at one of the points when it was going off in that corner, which is the same corner I found out that Krissi and her group had the cat balls going off the same corner, which we didn't know, that I know about now, is you hear me on the recorder saying I heard a male's voice, and I also caught it on digital recorder. And that was the one I heard, which was different than the time they heard. It was later in the evening. So, but it seems like we all picked up a male voice of some sort at that location.
Okay, real quick. I'm sorry when I was talking about the investigation. Okay, Evelyn just pinged in and said more activity at the church than the schoolhouse. Right. I did say that all that was at the church.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks. But yes, you're right, Evelyn. More at the church than at the schoolhouse.
Right, and we caught more at the church than the schoolhouse. But at the schoolhouse, we did an Estes session, and there was some cool stuff that was caught with that. apparently I was the one that was under doing the Estes method. They were asking me questions, and I didn't know this, but they had like the K2 or the capitals light up while I was under there. They asked me questions that came up interesting about how there'd been fire and how not to go to the woods, which was a recurring thing. We got that at Wolf Creek and there, not to go into the woods, which was weird. That there was something wrong with the woods there, and and that there was many, and that like I said, there was a fire, and that their story wasn't getting out. So some interesting stuff came from the Estes method too, which was interesting. That was most of what was from there that was caught from the schoolhouse. But like I said, the evidence that we caught on recorder, most of that happened in the church.
Got it.
I agree. Yeah.
Interesting.
And I don't know. I know that Dana had her equipment out, her recorder as well. I don't know. I haven't talked to her
We don't know what
about the evidence that she got.
Yeah, we don't know.
But we'll talk to her about it later. Yeah.
Okay.
But she may have extra more. And we still have a few of the recorder information to go through. That was at the same, most of it's in the same place that my recorder was at. So I'm hoping that even if we do, maybe we catch similar things. So there's still a couple things.
Well, what's really interesting having two digital recorders, and we've got this before, is that if you catch the same thing on the two different recorders,
yes, yeah,
that's even better.
Yeah. So Devon has a question real quick. She says, has anybody done research on if there's a fire in Golden? Remember? I think that was brought up in one of the sessions.
We got a lot of fire, and I got a lot of fire.
We did.
And so we're trying to find that out. I have not to this time found a fire, but I do know that those buildings always had fires in them back in the day. I assume that when people lived in those buildings, they dealt with wood heat, they dealt with fires all the time. So I'm assuming yes. I have not found proof where I can show you in an article that there was a fire. So we're the investigation.
Yeah, let's get to researching that. That'd be a great one. Yeah.
So
I think on both of our EVPs or apps, right, where fire was brought up.
Fire
in your
was brought
group
up
and in my group. Yeah.
And what's interesting is that's something. So what's really cool about Golden and Wolf Creek those are locations that are close to us that we're going to go back to. The investigation is ongoing at these locations for sure, and we'll be back.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
And so the other thing,
where the rabbit hole goes.
Exactly.
That's right.
The other thing we did while we were there is we went to the Oregon Vortex. So I'll show you that, which is a really cool place if nobody's been to it. We've been to it a couple times, and it doesn't disappoint anytime we were there. It was an interesting stuff. It is really interesting, the unique stuff, whether it's natural or because or not. It is
perception, optical illusion, right? Yeah.
But some of it, even like when we had the eclipse, it affected it. So it is affected by the environment and what happens. And so it's interesting that it's stronger at some times than other times. So anyhow, I think everybody kind of enjoyed going to that because they had weird stuff where like you just cross and you're on a tall person changes height by just going to one location or the other. And it's measurable. You can literally measure that this happens, almost like the mass is changed of somebody. So it's really interesting.
Does the ball still roll up?
Yeah, it is. And so there again, it is actually going. That's an optical illusion. See, there's optical illusions that you're seeing, and then there's things that are unexplainable, like the mass changing of somebody.
Or I think it was two of the gals in our party who were having like back pain or knee pain. Originally walking to the vortex, right? And then once we got in, we passed a threshold. It felt better. I mean, they didn't feel any pain. Like their pain was gone.
So it is interesting. It's definitely a place to go check out if you've never been there.
Well, because people get nausea there too.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
It's like
depending on your frequency.
Yeah, it's like
Mhm.
when you're around like radio towers or something. When you can feel it mess with your head, you
Yeah.
feel that air. You can feel it affect your body sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Devon said in the chat the copper downing rods were
Oh yeah, yeah. So
Dowsing
there's
rods.
areas where you grab dowsing rods and you stand in
Yep.
these circles they have, and when you hold the dowsing rods, they just sit there and spin. Like one will spin this way, the other for no reason. And now that is mess. That is a natural phenomenon, but it is
Yeah.
completely affecting you. That it happens in that spot, and there were several spots like that. So it was interesting.
Well,
Yeah.
We were
there's
all
a
holding
lot
them
of
in this
places
place.
like this on the
Yeah.
USA. You
Oh,
know?
Well, and
I
there
absolutely.
were
mean,
places
just in the
on the
woods,
planet like that.
on
We
the
were in a
planet.
place in, we were at a place in Sedona that was kind of like this, that
Mm-hmm.
had weird vortexy issues that twisted.
Well, and then you look at,
Those there.
you know, you
Any of the
look
ley
at
lines.
Skinwalker Ranch and
right,
the other
Mhm.
places that they're going to and stuff.
exactly,
Bradshaw Ranch and stuff like
Bradshaw.
that. Yeah.
right. And so anyhow,
Bradshaw Ranch. Yeah.
yeah, so the vortex was really cool. All in all, I think everybody had an amazing time. I want to thank everybody that was able to join us, especially the ones that came from a long distance. We appreciate so much for you guys to come and have fun with us out here in our little neck of the woods in Oregon.
Yeah. It was so nice to see them.
Yeah, it was.
We'll be together with the
That's
family.
Yeah,
awesome.
we'll wait to get together again and do more, either investigating or just getting together to have fun. Because definitely, you know, it's a good time. So, and like I said,
Absolutely.
we'll not only will we probably do this place again, but we want to do other places in the area as well.
Yeah,
And
that's
I'll try not to be sick next time.
Yes,
yeah, Darren.
please
Oh my
try
goodness, me and
join
you.
us on these things. We plan them months in advance, for crying out loud.
I know.
We're just gonna come grab you anyway, even if you're sick. We're just gonna come
Yeah,
grab you.
okay.
You're going
We'll put you-
anyway.
We'll put you in a bubble, like a bubble boy.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
We're talking
just
about
put
bubbles
me in a bubble.
Yeah.
all around.
So,
I'll be John Travolta.
yeah. So anyhow, the next thing that we have to talk about was what me and you did when we went to the Central Oregon Desert.
Oh, we did something?
We did. You actually were not sick for this, so we were able
Yeah.
to go. And so one of the things that Darren and I are wanting to try is we had the UFO incident ourselves back when we didn't have cameras on our phone and things like that. And we saw it
94,
between
right?
Corvallis and Albany. We've talked about it before, Triangle Shape. And so we want to know, though, we always like going to places where you can see the night sky. And over in the area where we went, which was the Fort Rock area, there's no lights out there. It's a good place to go to see the night sky. The thing is we wanted to see if by doing experiments that we could either trigger something that was unexplainable UFO wise, but we want to do it not only looking at sky and the woods and do different things. So this was our first time we went out. We tried the CE5, we tried the S6 method, as well as watching the night sky just to see what happened, right?
And talk about C5 a little bit.
Oh yeah, go.
So
Because some
this
people
is-
don't know what this
right.
stands
And
for.
you know who it's from. You know who basically kind of Stephen Greer is one of the ones who preaches a lot about it.
The app we're using is from Stephen Greer, but the concept of C5
Right.
isn't just him. You
Right.
know?
And if you use it exactly like it has a lot of meditative things and meditative states you can get into if you follow the app. And basically it's getting your mind tuned. It's kind of like what I'm assuming like remote viewing is. It's when you get yourself into that.
Exactly. It's
right?
nothing different than remote viewing and stuff. And
Right.
C5 stands for Close Encounters 5.
Because
Because Hynek made the 4.
Yep.
Made the 3. Close Encounters 1, which is what we saw. We just saw something, Darell. 2 is it has physical properties on the land. It left physical evidence. Is C52. 3 is contact.
Right.
You know, like the movie Close Encounters, Third Kind.
Yeah.
4 is abductions, when you get
abduction.
abducted. C4. And then C5 is you trying to contact.
Right. So basically, the
Okay.
scene that we were playing is noises and things that are supposed to be space noises and sounds that you would hear in space. And basically, you're projecting those into the air. We did that while also doing Estes method and other things. So we were just trying to do experiments to see if anything did trigger. We ended up, there was a guy that was watching us, trying to figure out what we were doing with a drone. So we didn't catch a UFO, but we got somebody that we think in the area that was watching us with a drone. But
you know, it's so funny because the whole night we were planning on staying up until like 5 in the morning.
Yeah.
And we'll dive into what happened in the first 2 hours, which was a lot. But
Right.
they kept circling. The same cars kept circling us.
So they're watching,
checking us out.
Sure.
what we're up to. And it could have been the farmers going, you know, are these guys up to something no good or
You know what? They knew what we were doing, so they put up the drone.
And maybe tried to say, hey, look,
just
UFO
to
or
make us leave or
But
whatnot.
I don't know. But you know, we did catch some interesting stuff at, you know,
We did.
on the Estes, you know, they're all stuff that we do. The first night was better than the second night because even though we caught some good stuff on Estes method, the sky had smoked in. There's wildfires in the area. And the second night they had blown over and you couldn't really see the night sky. So we didn't stay out there as long as we wanted to because we kind of lost the stars.
Well, and also with the acid method, we had a lot of synchronicity again happen.
We did, and also
Okay, detail.
The most traffic I've ever seen coming from Fort Rock, leaving. There was tons of trucks and people that just kept going by, and it wasn't like that the first night, and I've never seen it like that. And this is an area I've gone to since the mid '80s. I go there all the time out there, and I've never seen it like that. So it was really weird. It was kind of distracting too because there was just so much traffic, and I don't think they were all coming just to check us out, but it was.
I'm sure they would.
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll like hell you. They have the police escort us out.
Exactly.
Oh yeah,
that did not happen. Thank goodness.
Let's not do that.
Well,
it's kind of like in Skinwalker, right? Where whenever they're starting something, here comes the helicopter to the planes.
Absolutely. Which Skinwalker we could dive into about.
Yeah.
But we had the drone. The drone showed up both nights.
Yeah, see, it's good because the first night before it got dark, we saw the drone flying around.
Yeah, I got close enough where we could tell.
So that just helped us second night when we saw it.
Because we saw it off the distance, and it was moving a weird area. So it was either, it would have been like a UFO UAP of some sort, or the only other thing that could do that and stop and then start again is a drone. And it wasn't the same drone that we had seen the day.
Oh, interesting. It was?
Yeah.
Okay.
Didn't see a lot, but the acid, as the method, that we used and stuff, we did get a lot with what we, personally, our journey.
Right.
And so we'll talk more about that and bring up what we can and stuff. But it was amazing. It was
I'm so glad
right.
I'm glad you guys were able to go out and do that.
Right. The other place I got to take Darin, which a lot of people have gone to, I try to get everybody to go see this location, is D Observatory, which is
beautiful.
Do you have a picture of it?
I didn't pull a picture. But
okay.
But no, I lied. I do have a picture.
It looks like a Middle Earth.
Yeah. Hang on. This is a picture. It's got a big compass on top, And this is toward the sisters. So hang on, let me put this up here. So this is from on top of the observatory. But I don't actually have a picture of the observatory. And there's lava rocks going around and all that. But yeah, no, it's pretty cool.
So, the whole thing is lava rocks. So they took the lava rocks and they built this observatory lookout place. And each window you look through and you see different mountain peaks.
Yeah, they have every window and opening inside goes to a specific mountain range, and you can see a whole bunch, and it goes all the way around in a circle, and you can see all these mountains around in this area, which is amazing.
I was waiting for some elves and dwarves to come up. Because
it does feel like something right out of Lord of the Rings.
I know, really absolutely. So that was cool. And Krissi, we will get together and
go over
talk more about the audio and stuff, because we're still in the process of doing it, stuff like that. But it did give us a synchronicity of where we should go next. Our little group.
Yes. Let's do that. Let's do that. I know what you're talking about.
Let's not share where it is, because we'll bring that up when it happens. But there is something cool. Yeah, we're in the works on. Yep. So anyhow, from here, so that was really cool. So that was the other thing. So from here, I think the next thing that I want to talk about, we can dive into, huh? Oh,
I said it's a teaser.
It's a teaser.
What they call in the news, a teaser.
Exactly.
You'll have to watch after the commercial.
Yeah, there you go.
So why don't we talk about some of the shows we've been watching, and mainly Skinwalker Ranch and Beyond Skinwalker Ranch, which has been really good. We talked about it with Ryan Graves being there, which is also awesome, because a lot of the things that they're catching on their video that are flying around in the air are the same things that seem to be reported by the pilots that are seen too. So I think there's a connection there somewhere. So having him a part of it is cool. But what have you thought of this season of Skinwalker?
Pretty amazing. It's been pretty amazing, because they have, I don't know who has watched it and stuff, but they have found over the triangle and between Homestead 2 is a huge funnel.
Yes.
It's a huge funnel, and they can find it on LiDAR and stuff. Just information. It's almost like they are. What's interesting is the very last show, when they go through the evidence and stuff like that.
So spoiler alert for anybody who hasn't seen it.
Yeah, just a tiny one.
Sure.
But Jay Stratton, who was part of the Bigelow
group
in the 80s and 90s, who owned the Skinwalker Ranch, Bigelow did. Jay Stratton is part of the team now, and he's part of the team with Ron Graves and stuff. And when they showed the information of the tunnel, of the tube, the cone and stuff, as Jay Stratton goes, it's almost like it's an experiment.
Right.
Which I thought was very interesting for him to say, because he was there. Bigelow won't give them any information.
Right.
No, it's like they're starting from scratch.
Exactly. But Jay Stratton is not.
Right. And basically that cone goes.
I find that very interesting.
Right. The cone goes from the triangle to the east field, which is where all of their anomalies keep happening, as well as stuff inside the mesa. So without giving away much to the show, it's definitely one that's worth watching. And something
it really is.
I would say this season definitely by far is the best.
Right.
You know what?
It's got a lot of information.
Beyond Skinwalker is great.
Yeah, and what I like about Beyond Skinwalker too is that they're showing that these places aren't just tied to Skinwalker. Sure, that might be the drastic area the most, but you're having these kind of things show up all around.
Mhm.
You know, from California to Colorado to other areas in Nevada to, you know, these are popping up. There's high strangeness in these areas, and the connections with the similarities that are happening on Skinwalker are happening at these locations.
Mhm.
Absolutely. And so it's interesting that are they just now investigating those places, or have
Right.
those? See, the thing is the Bradshaw Ranch. Robert Bigelow owned the same time he owned Skinwalker.
Exactly.
And no one knew that at the time, but they do now. And the similarities are just really interesting.
Yes, they are. So anyhow, the other show that we could talk about real quick is one that's coming up here real soon, which is Expedition Bigfoot, which we've been liking to watch that. And now Ronnie's not going to be part of the team. I don't know if they've replaced him or what, but they're saying that this is the best season that they've done so far. It's what I'm hearing. Of course, as pitching TV programs, you're probably going to say that. But I'm just saying it's interesting. I'm definitely looking forward to checking it out.
Yeah, August 14th.
But
New
I
season,
think
season 5.
August 14th.
August 14th.
Yeah.
And then there's another show called Fact and Fiction, Alien Encounters.
Right,
and basically
that's on Hulu, and I got to check that out. You've watched it. I have.
And basically, so it's Mitch Hurwitz, who is he's an investigator and for a long time and stuff. And he's gotten together with Christy Newton, who works for the Debrief. And the Debrief is they started like 2017 when this whole UFO thing broke out and stuff. But they're the ones who broke the David Grush story. The whistleblower and stuff. So Chrissy Newton is an investigator. She's a space investigator. And so she has a lot of connections with space and just all that. So what they did is they have people from all around the USA put in their own visual sightings, if they have them on the cameras or whatever, or their personal encounters, and then they investigate it and they meet up with them and they show them their conclusions scientifically and stuff. Because some of them, you know, when you watch the episode, some are like Elon Musk's Starlink. A lot of people don't know what Starlink looks like.
Right.
And
so they just assume that it's
Our daughter got Starlink, and she came in telling us about this. They didn't know, and I didn't know. And as soon as I looked it up, I'm like, oh, it was Starlink. It's easy to get that confused if you're not aware of it being up.
So they also dive with abductions and stuff.
Gotcha.
So I like that the shows now, and it might be intentional they're doing all this and stuff, or they're finding out that everything is connected. The Bigfoot thing with the interdimensional, the cloaking and everything ties with Skinwalker and what's going on there, and then the paranormal is it's all connected. And that's why, like, the UFO Twitter right now is a dumpster fire. It's just people pissed off at other people and stuff.
That's what's sad.
That's Twitter anyway.
Exactly. It's kind of like the paradrama in paranormal. So this was another reason why I thought this idea would be a good one, because it's collaboration in all aspects. I
Mm-hmm.
don't care if it's cryptid, UFO,
Right.
paranormal, fairies. I don't care what it is, because it's all part of this earth and
Yeah,
part of our reality. And
I
so,
agree.
if we can all get together and just kind of
Quit making it a
try to,
contest. Mm-hmm.
yeah,
Exactly.
try to dot the lines,
Yeah,
and
we're all looking
stuff.
for the same thing.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Well,
I
to
agree.
move on to our next little thing, I think I
So
want
hold
to
on
bring.
real quick. So what was that on? Can you say that again, Darren? What that was?
It's called Fact and Fiction
Okay,
Alien Encounters.
alien counters
And Darell
We
found
found
it
it
on
on Hulu.
Hulu. I watch it on
on
something
Hulu.
else, but Hulu's fine. Yeah.
Okay. What that
Um,
reminds me of is the old show from a few years back, Fact or Fake. Completely
yes.
different thing.
It's
That was a
and that
different
was
thing. They
with
were
Ben
doing.
Hansen
Ben Hansen,
Yeah,
yeah.
that was
and
good.
stuff.
They were going to a place of where
Okay.
they found it on the internet, and it showed
Yes.
this experience
Yes.
happened. They went out to see if they could either disprove it or if they could make something similar to it to find out if they thought it was
Correct.
fact.
So
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
so
a
this is
lot like they have community people. They have actual people coming to them
okay.
with their. It's not ones you find on, because really
That's good.
finding things on the internet and stuff. There's
Yeah,
so much fake crap
oh
out
my
it's
goodness.
there.
true.
Well,
It's
and
true.
now with
I
AI
agree.
is
AI,
just
you can
making it
fake.
so much harder.
Yeah,
Yeah,
with
So
AI, you could fake anything. With
yeah.
AI, it
so
makes it look real.
so with this whole thing, it's the grassroots movement that will put pieces together.
Right,
It's not the
Mhm.
military and all that crap. So it has to be the grassroots if
right.
we want to find out more about what's going on.
I agree. I
Exactly.
agree. Mm-hmm.
So to lead into our next thing, I think what we're going to do is we're going to bring up the Wandering Woods Paranormal, which is our paranormal group. So me and Chrissy, we've and Darren Jennifer, we've started this Wandering Woods Paranormal, and our idea is this is our investigating team, whether we're investigating UFO, cryptid, or hauntings or whatever. We'll go out and do the investigations under there and come back. Our podcast is Under the Oregon Moon. This is where we'll talk about what the Wandering Woods Paranormal has gone out and found. So
Mm-hmm.
we just basically got it up and running. We're going to do more. Our first actual Wandering Woods Paranormal thing is what I'm leading into, which we're going to start. We're going to be doing next week, which is this. We're going, me and Chrissy, we're going to go check this place out here. So let's do this. Share. And so this right here is St.Ignatius in Colfax. It's an old hospital. And
Oh, look at that!
Colfax, Washington.
That looks nice and creepy.
yeah. So we're going to go for a few hours and we get a tour and then they let us loose to do investigation here. We're going to check it
Nice.
out. And once we do that, we'll probably end up going back with a whole overnight because we can also get
Yeah.
it to do an overnight investigation of this location. But for right now, we're just going to do a few hours of it and see how it is. But this will be our first actual Wandering Woods Paranormal investigating of the
Nice.
location. So this will be the start of that for sure. So anyhow, that's just one of the things that we're doing. And you do pay to go to investigate these places, but all that money goes to help maintain that building, just like Waverly or any of these other locations. They're not getting rich off of it. It's to help the building survive. So
Yeah.
it's definitely going to be a good one.
So going back
No,
to
it
what
sounds
Darren was
awesome.
saying real quick, Devon put on, can't wait to be part of the community site that you can put together, the grassroots.
Yes, and
Yeah.
and
I agree
I
with
think
Devon.
that's important. And we're also trying to get community people who will come on and talk. Like, maybe we can get MUFON. They all can MUFON to come once in a while and talk
or
about
somebody
stuff like
from Oregon MUFON. It doesn't have to be,
Exactly.
That would be
And
cool.
I'm part of a astronomy group, and I'm trying to. There's some scientists and stuff in that group, and so I'm trying to get some people on, so you don't just stuck with us all the time because we're boring.
Well, then forget it.
Exactly. And
Yeah,
so,
who wants to listen to us all the time?
I know. We probably lost everybody already. There they go.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, so the other thing that Krissi and I are doing, which is really interesting, is after that we have we always are doing something. We have a big thing coming up. We have a big thing coming up in September, and we are going to Greece with Grant and Rihanna. Just like we went to Romania with them, we're going to Greece with them. And this is really cool because they've got some neat investigations. We got like a hospital that we're going to be able to do that was used as a hospital in World War II, as well as caves to Haiti that we're doing with another paranormal group from Greece.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah. Greece, Greek paranormal group. That'd be a team. It's going to be very interesting. I'm super excited.
So they're going to be able to bring, we don't have to worry about trying to get our equipment over there. They're going to bring their own equipment, and we're going to be able to get down there. So this is really excited about this trip. And Grant and Rihanna are amazing. I love them to death, and they've been awesome on these trips. And I'm excited. I know Krissi is too, right? To go on
Super excited. So excited. So what had happened with this whole thing is we were actually supposed to, and I know that because Jessica's on. We were supposed to do Ireland because Greece was supposed to be last April, and right after our Romania trip, I mean, so many months we could never have done that. But they pushed out Greece, and so we swapped over from Ireland to Greece. So I'm going to miss everybody who's going to Ireland, though. They're my fam. I think Greece was definitely on our top of our list to go.
We chose Greece first.
It was our choice. But yeah, we did choose Greece first. And so it just happened that they pushed it out, and it worked out for us.
That's so awesome.
Jump into it.
Now we will miss all of our Romania family for sure that was there in Romania. We wish we were on that trip too. But this was an opportunity that we definitely couldn't pass up. And we will do Ireland at some point.
Right.
Like I said, we're hoping to hook up with our Romania family as well, as we did a few of them on the investigation that we were able to do there.
And Deanne puts can't wait to can't wait to see you if we get anything. I think she's talking about when we go to Colfax, the St.Ignatius. And Diana was on there asking if they wanted to do that forever. Do we need company? And we'll link up offline, Diana, about that for sure.
Yeah.
And then I know just because I'm gonna miss you.
I know. We're gonna miss everybody too.
Everybody in Ireland. You guys are gonna have a blast in Ireland, though. They will. They'll have a great time.
And some other things that we have coming up is in October after we're back. We just have some local things like at our local Elsinore, which is a theater here. We're going to be able to see Amy's coming by with her book tour, and then we're going to have the Haunted Objects, which is Dana and Greg. We're going to that.
The
Newkirks, which is really cool, and so we're excited about that.
Because Hell 3 is coming out soon.
Yeah, it's coming out soon. Yeah. And also, and that leads into my other thing. Our next show that we're going to do is probably going to be in November, and that will be just to go over the final part of the year and the things we've done. So we'll have a show in November. That'll be our next show.
Yeah, you guys are kind of busy.
Yeah, our travel agent Krissi keeps us extremely busy.
Hey, you love it.
Hey, I'm happy about it. I'm just saying.
You love it.
You need to just be a travel agent or something.
I know. I'd love to.
A dream job.
It's true.
No, so anyhow,
Yeah, so
That
that's
sounds
basically-
awesome and exciting.
Yeah.
Awesome.
So the neat thing is like I said, we'll keep, and then we'll full bore go into the Wandering Woods Paranormal and all the things we're going to do, and then we'll bring all that information back and we'll talk about it here on this platform under the Oregon Moon. So we're excited about it, and so that's what we got going on.
Thank
right
you for
now.
letting me barge in, Darin. I appreciate it.
Of course. Next time you're in the back. Okay. So
Wow.
we can talk. I mean, he is my brother. Damn it.
Is he?
And the one thing I want people to understand who's listening and stuff is, please, if you want to, share your investigations and stuff, and we will start putting it on our community board.
Mhm.
And and let's make this not just us.
Right.
It's a group thing. And
Exactly.
we're finding these great groups of people who are interested in what we are interested
Exactly.
in.
That's
So
why collaborating with other teams is a great idea, and whatever that they're willing to share.
Oh, yeah. I think that's a big thing.
Obviously,
I
we
think that's
talk
a huge
about our
thing.
stuff right here, and we're willing to share it. So I think it's a great opportunity.
And it can be anonymous if you guys want it.
Don't have to share. But
Yeah.
it would be for like especially like the UAP UFO thing. That's a really interesting one, because I like that if we find a similar area that we're seeing something in, that's really an area we could focus on.
Absolutely, there's hot spots everywhere. So
right. Which is why hooking up with MUFON would also be a good opportunity.
It would be really good.
Absolutely, it really would.
Mhm.
I might even talk to Peter Davenport from the UFO
right.
Reporting Center up in Washington.
Oh, who was there last year? Was it Washington MUFON that was at
Washington MUFON? It was Washington
at
MUFON.
the UFO Festival?
Yeah. This year,
There was the Oregon and the Washington
Okay.
But the Oregon, they weren't there when we were there, and we were only able to talk to the Washington MUFON.
And they were interested.
They were really interested.
We could even dive
because really the West Coast or the Pacific Northwest, that's always a good area.
I agree.
Absolutely. And then there's a lot of Bigfoot researchers in this
Oh my
area.
gosh, yeah.
Oh, huge.
Yeah.
Well,
we could probably get hold of.
First of all, you got Cliff from the area, and he was a teacher just up there in the Portland area.
No, absolutely. And then I forgot the guy's name, but he made the paranormal Bigfoot.
Right. The Flash of Beauty or whatever.
Yeah, Flash of Beauty.
There it is.
Yeah, that was a good one too. So
yeah, he's here in Oregon as well.
So anyhow, so I think we've been on for almost an hour. We've been on over an hour and a half.
Over an hour and a half.
When you wrap things up, is there anything else you want to say, or are we good?
Well, if anybody has anything to say, I mean, they want to get a little bit more information. There's links to what we've discussed about the Geiser or Old Idaho. Anything that we discussed, they can click on the links and get a little bit more information on those different places.
And then just keep track of all data dump that we do.
Yeah,
absolutely. Data dump
articles from all over the world about weird stuff.
Right. Yeah. Keep on the Under the Oregon Moon. On the Under the Oregon Moon or the Wandering Woods Paranormal, and we'll keep all of our stuff on there for you guys to see. So if you keep following those, you'll see what we're into, what's going on with everything.
I agree. And Lance, yes, we can do your house on video sometime.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, gosh, yeah.
We always get something at his house.
Right. If we do a live location, which is something we're going to do up here in the future, I think, at some point.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We're
we'll get
live as we're investigating. So that will be good too. So
we'll get Josh Gates to moderate it.
There we go. I
I
know.
love that.
Well,
That's
thank
Yeah.
you. Right.
Well, I think we'll wrap up there and say, you know,
No, it's a great
we're
show,
we're
and
leaving for now, but we'll be back in November and we'll be
Good
talking more
show.
about the things that we have coming up.
yep, and just email us any questions or experiences, whatnot, and in November we will all get together and see what happens.
That's right.
Right.
We'll be
Sounds
together
good.
again in November.
Right. Bye, guys.
Thanks, everybody.
Until we
Bye.